All right, everybody, it's the pregame video you've all been waiting for. Let's crank it out. Let's do it. Let's try to figure this one out because, you've got the number 5 team in the nation, you've got the number 20 team in the nation, and I think fans of both teams are not feeling nearly as good about their teams as those rankings suggest right now. So, we are about, 28, 29 and a half hours away from kickoff. Going to be a road game, going to be in California. We're going to Southern California to take on the Trojans. And this was, I thought, going to be our big test for 2023. I thought this was going to be the game that determined whether or not we were a really, really good or great team or an elite or maybe even top in the nation team. That has not really transpired so far. USC is obviously a very good team, but whew, they can't stop anybody. That defense is miserable. That defense is pathetic. And honestly, while their offense has been great, it hasn't been enough to overcome that defense. Not only have they already lost 2 games, they've barely won a few games and kind of embarrassed themselves in those games against substandard competition. So this is a flawed team, and I think we can safely say that Oregon is better than USC at this point. I think you can make an argument that Oregon State might be better. Utah beat them head to head. They're better, maybe. USC is just kind of it's just another season for them. It's not a special season the way I thought it was going to be. I thought they would be the top competition in the Pac-12, but really you could argue maybe 4 Pac-12 teams ahead of them because their defense is just that bad. They can score 50 points in a game and still not feel good about their odds to win. They can put up 60 points in a game and still not feel amazing about things. So, why am I not feeling great about this game? Why do I not feel really, really confident in the Washington Huskies to go on the road tomorrow afternoon and get a win against USC when they are in that state where their defense is that bad and their offense hasn't been able to overcome it or barely been able to overcome it against bad teams? Because quite frankly, the way Washington is playing, not only are they due a loss, they're kind of due a butt whooping. They're kind of due a whipping. And I'm waiting for it to happen because bottom line is either this team is going to start playing much, much better or this team is going to get whipped by one of these good competitors coming up. And part of me, despite their struggles, expects it to be USC. So I'm not biting into the rotten cheese right now. I'm not going to sit here and just make this about USC because if you want to make this just about USC, yeah, they're not playing well at all lately. They got blown out by Notre Dame, and it's not even an elite Notre Dame team. It's a good Notre Dame team, don't get me wrong. They got beat by Utah, and Utah's a very flawed team. They have a great defense, but we saw how flawed they were last week against Oregon. They're barely scraping out wins against bad Pac-12 competition, but you could say that exact same thing about Washington lately. And you got what you got. You've got a team that has star power, explosiveness. They're a lot of fun to watch. Caleb Williams is one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. I know he did have that one really bad game against Notre Dame, but other than that, even in the losses that he sustained and some of the ugly wins, he continues to shine. USC is balanced on offense, more balanced than Washington has been. They run the ball well. I think they spread the ball out a little bit better. Obviously, it helps when you have your full slate of weapons, which Washington has not really had this year, but they don't really have anything that stands out super strongly outside of Caleb, right? They don't. Caleb Williams is amazing, but he lost Jordan Addison. He lost some guys on the offensive line last year, and USC didn't do a great job replacing them, and therefore he has to do a lot of heavy lifting. Now, he's fully capable of it. And I'm sure Washington's defense, which has been up and down lately, like it was obviously really solid against Arizona State, but mostly bad against Stanford, I'm sure we're going to give up a lot. I'm sure Caleb is going to make some crazy stuff happen. I'm ready for it. But objectively speaking, I look at it and I go, this is not like the Oregon game. Oregon has, it's not just Bo Nix. They've got Troy Franklin. They've got some killers on that offensive line. Excuse me. they've got killers in the backfield. It's a well-rounded offense. USC, while they do have a running game, like Lloyd has been really efficient for them on the ground, you wouldn't really call it a balanced offense in the sense of they've supplemented their quarterback with great talent. They have a superstar quarterback and a superstar play caller in Lincoln Riley, and there really isn't a heck of a lot else to get excited about on this offense in terms of the individual talent. Washington has great wide receivers who will go high in the draft whenever they declare. Romo Dunze, and by the way, I don't know if Jalen McMillan's going to play, but honestly, if he does, I don't expect him to do anything because this is kind of a lost season for him. It just is what it is. But what we have with Jalen Polk and even a guy like Bernard is still really good and should be good enough to get a win against almost any team in the nation. Like, there are a lot of quarterbacks out there that would love to have Penix's weapons even without McMillan. I'm not even getting into the tight end stuff. So, can't be that. And it can't really be the defenses either, right? Because obviously Washington's defense comes and goes. They've had good stuff and they've had bad stuff. They gave up a lot to Stanford, but they held strong against Arizona State. They basically scored more points than they allowed. And they've had good moments, bad moments, up and down. USC has not even really had the good moments lately. They've been nothing but down. They've given up 34 or more points I think 5 straight games, including games against very lackluster competition. So, yeah, I mean, our defense is clearly better than USC's. Our offense is probably on an equivalent plane, maybe a little bit worse, but only slightly, mostly because of the McMillan injury. I do think that really affects things, but it's just I cannot help but be pessimistic about this Huskies team when I've seen them play so badly for the last 2 games. I'm just like, we deserve to lose a game eventually. Why not have it come on the road against USC, a flawed but still very talented team at the top? So, I don't know. This one's weird, right? I'm sitting here, I'm breaking it down, I'm analyzing it. I'm like, we're better. We're better. We have a roughly equivalent quarterback, at least on the college football level. Caleb's better, but Penix is having this extraordinary season. It's probably a little better than Caleb's season on the whole. We've got a better defense. We've got better receiver talent. We probably have a better offensive line. Not that I love our offensive line right now, the way it's been playing lately, but it's probably better than USC's. They've got issues down there. And I think we have a defense that can at least push USC off the field occasionally. But it's really hard to feel good about this. I don't get it, right? It's just one of those things where I know this Washington team is due a loss. I just know it. We survived via miracle against ASU and Stanford, honestly. And I know Penix was sick against Stanford, and that probably contributed to some of the struggles, but he was our best player even when he was sick. That's kind of part of the problem, right? Why is he lifting the team up on his shoulders when he's the one who's sick? Shouldn't it be everybody else lifting him up because he's sick? So, this is a weird one, guys. Objectively speaking, yeah, Washington's a better team and they should win. But I'm just approaching this cautiously, and I'm ready for the other shoe to drop. I'm ready for this team to get the loss that they kind of deserve right now because, point blank period, USC is not going to give you all the opportunities that ASU and Stanford did when you played so bad against them. You were able to play bad against those teams and still win because those teams are just bad. they're not bad enough to do that. So tomorrow afternoon, I'll be going live at 4:30, probably on my laptop this time around, but I will be going live. I'll be streaming the whole game, is the plan. I'll probably be eating dinner during the game, during the early part of the game, so you'll get to watch me do I talk about this sometimes, but kind of a amateur mukbang. So if you're into that, come watch, but if not, I promise to not be too gross. But come on by regardless, and we'll have some fun with it. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Like, we should win, but I'm not really expecting to, and I don't know why, other than I just feel like the college football gods are going to not let us go to 9-0. They're going to be like, no, 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 no. You deserve to lose a game. You're losing this game, bubs. I don't know. That's the only way I can justify it. That's the only way I can say it. I mean, this is admittedly if you want to try to find something objective to land on, we've got serious issues at safety. All these injuries we've got back there. This is not a good team to have issues at safety against. Caleb will pick you apart if your safeties are not on point. So there's that going on. They're more balanced on their offense. They can run the ball better than we can by a long shot. So there are some things that they can get on us. But more than that, I'm just looking at this game and going, we deserve it, right? Like the way we've been playing, if USC gets that Huskies team, they should take care of business. All right, we're gonna find out. This is kind of the game to figure out: are you guys flaky or are you guys fraudulent? If Washington wins this game, then I guess they were just flaky. They decided they didn't feel like showing up against ASU and Stanford. They did just enough to win those games, and they decided that was good enough. But if they lose, then I guess they're just not that good. So which is it, Washington? Are you flaky or are you fraudulent? As bad as this sounds to say, I hope you're just flaky, but there's something in the back of my head that is making me afraid of you guys just plain being frauds. Prove me wrong, guys. Prove me wrong. Or at least prove my suspicions wrong. Let's put it that way. All right. Catch you guys later. Bow down to Washington. See you in the stream tomorrow. We're going to learn a lot about these Huskies tomorrow late afternoon.